This is the Talaria XXx. We just crossed over 1,000 miles. We're gonna tell you what we like about it, what we don't like about it, and if it was worth the money after 1,000 miles. Let's get into it. Forgot what I was gonna start with though. Oh, like and subscribe. Before we get started, if you guys like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to our channel. We do all kinds of e-bike reviews and we're super honest and unbiased. We don't ever let a company dictate what we're gonna say, and this is no exception. Huge thanks to Eric at Lunicycle for sending this bike out to us. It's been super fun to have, and they are doing all that they can to keep this bike in stock. The demand has been extremely high. I'm sure you guys all know that it's been super hard to get your hands on one, but head on over to their website because they've been having more and more drops every couple days. Usually is a new bike drop. So with that said, let's talk about this bike after 1,000 miles. So first things you want to know about an e-bike: speed and power. Well, this bike has both. 6,500 watts. We've been able to cruise at 49 miles per hour all day long. It will hold that through the majority of the battery, and it's been super impressive. Now, the one complaint with this bike is that the battery is housed internally inside here, so people feel like it's harder to remove. You actually have to remove this bolt on the shock and then quick release, open this battery door, slide the battery out. Now, we don't feel like that's much of a problem because we've removed this battery a total of actually 2 times. One time was in our first review where we showed you guys how to remove it, and the second time was for our range test where we pulled the battery out to show it in our thumbnail picture. Okay, that's the only times we've removed it, and it's super solid in there. It doesn't rattle around, and we've been really impressed with the range. If you guys haven't seen our range test, go check out that video, link in the description, because this bike had more range than our Talaria Sting R in the same identical test. Just super impressive. Next thing about this bike is the size. We actually really like the size. I'm 6'3", and a lot of people are worried about it being too small, but it's super fun to zip around on the street. The Supermotos make it super fun. You get tons of range, tons of power. This bike's keeping up with our more powerful and more expensive Talaria Sting Rs for a great price. A little later on, we'll talk about some of these upgrades we have on the bike. Okay, so our next category is gonna be the price, because there's been a little bit of changes in this since it came out. So when this bike came out, it was at an introductory price of $3,000 plus shipping from Lunicycle. Now that was always gonna be an introductory price. The value is just too much on this bike. They wanted to give us an amazing deal on it, but now the price has raised up to $3,250 plus shipping on their website. Guys, that is still an incredible value for this bike. Happily pay that difference. You are getting an amazing bike, and I really wouldn't worry about it. They also now have the dirt wheel set for sale on Lunicycle's website that you can add onto this bike. It's a 19-inch front, 17-inch rear with dirt tires. Go check out our video going over this bike with that same dirt wheel set. It's pretty impressive. This bike, although it's not made entirely for dirt and it's not quite as good as the Sting R off-road, it still is a blast to ride off-road. We actually just took this bike camping and we built a dirt course on 20 acres of property, and we raced all of our bikes, our Sting Rs and this bike. Me and Reed and Alex took turns racing, timing each other, and this bike had the lap record. On a tough, twisty, off-road trail, this was faster than our Talaria Sting Rs when Reed was riding it. If you guys are wondering who's the fastest Talaria boy, it's Reed, although it's a pretty small margin, but good job, Reed.
Yes, I am.
Yes, he is. Okay.
Now you guys know.
Now you guys know Reed's the fastest Talaria boy. At the moment, he might not be forever because me and Alex are catching up. But that's gonna be the price, guys. They also have a pedal kit coming out for this bike. It's supposed to be here really soon. I don't know the exact date, but it's supposed to be here soon. You can sort of turn this into a fake pedal bike, although I think this is the way that it should be ridden. After 1,000 miles, we are happy to say that this suspension is actually holding up really well. I think for the price of this bike, they actually did really high quality suspension. Now, one disadvantage to the fork is there is no preload. It's there, but it doesn't actually turn or adjust anything. There is a little bit of rebound adjustment, but the fork comes pretty soft, but it feels the same now as it did right when we got it. So after 1,000 miles, still holding up well, even with all the abuse we're giving it. The rear shock the back end of the bike does feel pretty stiff, and that is mostly in part to having no suspension linkage. There's not as much travel, not quite as plush, and Supermoto wheels and tires also just make the bike feel stiff anyway. However, when we moved over to our dirt wheel set, that made the back of the bike feel a whole lot better. But this big old xXx 241 Trials tire on there, that added some air volume, really is a soft tire. That's why we chose this. A lot of you guys were wondering why we didn't do a huge knobby tire. That's why, is because we really wanted it to be soft on all the rocks and riding that we do here in Utah.
So with this bike, stock Supermotos, it feels very stiff front and back. But when you put the 19 on the front, which is the dirt setup, it lifts up the front of the bike and it makes the back feel a whole lot better when you're riding the trails. Even with no linkage, it still feels pretty good. I would not say it's as good as the Sting R, of course. While we were camping over the weekend, we were racing these bikes, as Lance was saying. I won, of course. But this bike, it did get the lap record, but doing that, my back started hurting. It was a lot more rough than our Sting Rs. And that's probably because there's no linkage. It just can't be as good of a suspension bike as the Sting R.
So also, in talking about the dirt wheel set, this is the dirt wheel set that you can order from Lunicycle. However, like we mentioned, these are not the tires that come on that dirt wheel set. We had the stock tires on it, and we got 2 flats on the back tire in 3 rides. And that is no good. So we put the big heavy duty xXx on the back. It solved that problem right up. And the front, we decided we wanted more grip, so we did that as well. If you guys want some tire upgrades for your Talaria, Sting R, Talaria X, head over to Charge Cycle Works. That's where we purchase these. We'll have links for them. And we have a discount code to Charge Cycle Works. So check our description, hit that discount code, you'll get 5% off. Helps our local e-bike dealer here, and it really helps us as a channel as well.
The brakes on this bike are still holding up fine. I wouldn't say you need to upgrade them, especially how light this bike is with the 220 rotors. It still feels great. One of the favorite things we like to do on this bike is wheelies. As you know, this is a wheelie monster. The balance point is super good. Me and Alex can just wheelie as far as we want, and that's super fun. Let's go over a few things that we are not liking about this bike.
Oh, stay tuned for a future video where Reed and Alex teach me how to wheelie, because I don't really know how, but I'm trying to learn. So stay tuned. Coming soon, and by soon we mean we don't know.
So
let's talk about the light.
The light. A lot of you have been wondering about these lights. So it comes with this one. Everyone likes how this one looks, but it doesn't have much light. It's not great at night.
It does have a high beam, a low beam, and a daytime running with a 3-position switch, which is awesome, but it's okay on the road, but the beam is like this tall and this wide, where when you ride like it on a trail or something at night, you need like this wide and this tall. Like you actually need some light. I got long arms, I'm doing the thing. Ready? So we wired this up. We don't really recommend, we have these 2 light pods sitting in the garage. We have some understanding of wiring, electronics, and soldering. Don't really recommend you guys do this. Hopefully they come out with some more plug and play options that'll work with the Talaria X, but we made it work. It's working for us right now.
It was a huge pain, so we don't recommend it. If you have the know-how, do it. But if you don't do it. Yeah. It was a pain.
You know if you know how to do it.
Yes.
Okay. If you don't know, then you don't know.
One thing we don't like about this bike is the belt. This is our first bike that has belts. We've ridden surrons a little bit, but we've never owned one. And now we know how good the gearbox is. Like, the gearbox is so smooth on the Sting Rs. It is awesome. This belt, I don't know if we stretched it or what we did, but you can like feel the vibrations when you're going up steep hills. When you're working that motor, you can totally feel the belt, and it feels terrible.
Yeah, when you're doing a full acceleration from a stop, you feel it like stretch and grind kind of a thing, and then as soon as you're up to speed and there's less torque, it is smooth. It's also really loud. It's way louder than our gearbox. Like, I would much rather do 1 break-in oil change and then not another one for 3,000 miles than worry about this belt stretching and slipping, and if it gets wet or muddy, then it doesn't work as good either. So we don't love that they did that. I mean, they did keep it simple. It makes the bike lighter. Like, it's not awful, but it's, I mean, it works, but it's not, that's one of the downsides that we don't like as much.
Yeah. Downside, the bike is very loud compared to our Sting Rs. I don't know, what can you do about it?
Put some deodorant on it.
We tried that. Deodorant on the belt, it helps a little bit.
So after 1,000 miles, let's talk about the upgrades that we did. You guys see we have this, it's supposed to be purple, it's slightly pink. We understand that. Graphics kit from Sticker Effects, check the link in our description. This has protected our bike because we let everybody ride this. This is kind of our beater bike. It's really got taken a beating. We off-road it all the time, and that's protected it really nice. So it's not like a must-do upgrade, but we really appreciate that it has it. The next thing is a riser bar. This is a Warp 9 3-inch riser bar. It is a must-have, especially if you're off-roading. The bars are really low stock. You don't necessarily need to do a direct mount stem. We wanted to match our decal kit, and it does work really well, but you could get away with just a bar. We did pegs. That is a must-do. These are Warp 9 pegs. These are Surron purple pegs, and we put a Surron bracket on there. So just know if you try to buy purple Warp 9 pegs, they will not work on this bike unless you do a Surron bracket. But lots of upgraded pegs available. Those are gonna work way better than the stock ones. Rear axle blocks. That is one of our must-do upgrades. I know they're expensive. However, if you have a dirt wheel set and you're switching back and forth all the time between supermotos and dirt wheels, you are gonna absolutely love those. They make switching wheels so much faster. They keep your chain tight. We also did the 52 tooth rear sprocket. It's not really necessary, but it gives us a little bit more torque. It lowers our top speed by about 4 miles an hour. We're still getting between 45 and 46 miles an hour GPS speed. So it's still plenty fast, gives us a little more torque when we're riding those trails and trying to do wheelies. Is there any other upgrades, guys, besides the dirt wheel set, tires? Oh, grips. Headlight, oh, grips. Yes. So these are the Pro Taper Pillow Top grips. Head over to Charge Cycle Works, get yourself a pair of those. Discount code, you guys remember, link in the description. That's probably about it. That's it. Really.
This bike grips, definitely recommend. 10 out of 10.
Oh, one more thing. So there's been some complaints about the seat subframe being pretty weak and actually bending. Ours is actually slightly bent, but it's not really Talaria's fault because we overloaded it and we were riding 2 people on this bike, and so we were exceeding the weight limit, did slightly bend. But if you guys have an issue with this, contact Luna Cycle. They will send you a new upgraded, beefier seat frame. So don't worry, they will take care of you. So head over to Luna Cycle if you have that issue. We're not too worried about it. It just bent just a little bit, and it kind of makes the seat angle quite nice, honestly.
And if you're going to purchase one of these bikes now, all of them come with the upgraded seat frame, so they will not bend anymore.
Yes, they all come with the upgraded seat frame. And I've heard that the new models are actually coming with all black wheels. So black spokes, black nipples, full black setup.
Just like these.
Just like the off-road ones. So we're excited for you lucky people that get the all black setup. Since we're one of the early bikes, ours is silver. But honestly, guys, we're super impressed with this bike after 1,000 miles. We added it up. I quickly did the math right before this video. We've had it for 53 days. We've got 1,012 miles on the bike, which equates to 19 miles a day that this bike has been ridden on average. We let everybody ride it. We pretty much burn a whole battery every day, and we just ride hard, we ride fast. It's super awesome, you guys. So thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. If you guys need some parts, head over to Charge Cycle Works, use our discount code, hit up Luna Cycle, get yourself a Talaria X. If it's out of stock right now, don't worry, it will be back sooner than you know it. Get some dirt wheels, go hit the trails, have fun, and subscribe. We'll see you guys next video. See ya.